Yo, I hope I'm not a dumbass and I release this after the Josh Palmer and Trey McKinney videos come out. McKitty. But if I don't, I'm sorry. But dude, the Chargers draft was ass. Okay, so the Chargers drafted for need. Okay, which usually is not a good thing. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend like I can scout the fucking lineman that they took in the first round or Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. Okay, I don't know about those things. Neither do you probably. Okay, you're probably full of shit, right? But what I do know is what makes a good prospect from these skill positions, right? And in the third round, the Chargers drafted Josh Palmer. Okay, Palmer was outproduced in college perpetually by Jawan Jennings, a seventh round pick, and Marquez Callaway, who was a UDFA. He barely broke out as a 21-year-old senior. He never, in his 4 years of college, eclipsed 500 receiving yards in a single year. He's a subpar athlete, and he's essentially the Mike Williams replacement, okay? Which is a pretty shitty role in itself, right? And he was drafted in the third round. He was outproduced by a seventh rounder and a UDFA constantly throughout college. Constantly. He's a bad athlete. He barely broke out as a fucking geriatric, right? Man got an ARP card. He's old as hell, right? He's a bad athlete. He's being taken to replace the role of a bust that they drafted 4 years ago. What are they doing? They drafted him in the third round, okay? In the third round. Okay, but wait. That was somehow their best pick of the third round, okay? Because they come in here, right? They draft Trey McKitty from Georgia. Actually, from Florida State and Georgia, okay? His 11.3 career combined dominator puts him in the 26th percentile among tight ends. His best season receiving was 256 yards and 2 touchdowns, meaning he had no breakout. He did not break out. The threshold for breaking out as a tight end is merely a 15% dominator, and he didn't do it. He could not do it. Okay? He was the 8th leading receiver on Georgia as a 22-year-old senior. The 8th leading receiver. The 8th one. Not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, not the fifth, not the seventh, not the... I skipped a number. But he was the 8th receiver. The 8th leading receiver. There were 7 people on his team better than him at catching the ball as a 22-year-old senior. His 4.7640 was his best measurable, and it was pretty shit. His hand size is in the 99th percentile. Motherfucker got ogre hands, and he still dropped the ball 14.3% of the time. Okay? He's undersized for a tight end. He's not a big body tight end. There's nothing good about Trey McKitty. He is shit across the board. Nothing is good about him. But he was drafted in the third round with Josh Palmer. He's the Hunter Henry replacement, but he's fucking awful. He's so bad at football. He's not athletic. He has big hands, but can't fucking squeeze the football. He was the 8th leading receiver as a senior. As a 22-year-old senior. He was the 8th leading receiver. There were 7 people on his football team better than him at catching the football as a 22-year-old senior. And they were all probably younger. Okay? But somehow, he was not the worst player that they drafted. He might have been the worst value, but Larry Roundtree is the worst running back prospect imaginable. I made a video declaring him the worst prospect ever. And while it may have been hyperbole, no, it was not hyperbole. He was actually the worst prospect ever. He's very, 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 very bad. He's not athletic. He's not particularly big. He doesn't catch the ball. He does nothing good. There's no athletic measurable that says he can do this good. There's nothing that says that. His dominator is high, but it's because he's fucking bad. He's very inefficient. He's got Fed the Rock. He's not good at all. He will never be good. He's bad. He's awful. Okay, and he was drafted in the 6th round. Okay, boo-hoo. Big deal, right? Well, they wasted a pick. Okay, now this would have been bad if it was a team in, say, the AFC North or maybe the NFC East. You know, if someone in the NFC East did this, I'd be like, hey, that's on brand. That is a bad division. But in the AFC West, where the Los Angeles Chargers reside, someone by the name of Patrick Mahomes is there, okay? And he's not going anywhere. He's going to be there till I'm living in the big city, making it big when he's done with his contract. His decade-long contract, okay? It's going to be a while. And you cannot draft for need, ever. But when you draft for need with Patrick Mahomes in your division, I sincerely do not know what you're doing. The Chargers, some analysts may have given them a good score, but they're not very smart, okay? Because this draft was absolutely awful. And when you're drafting for need in a division with Patrick Mahomes, I don't see you winning anytime soon. So, while this may be a bit, what's the word? A bit much to go this far. I feel comfortable saying I will never bet the Chargers to win the AFC West in the next 9 years. Okay? Because this franchise, they got lucky with Justin Herbert, but they're clearly not very good at running the franchise because you don't draft for need if you don't have to. Okay. Yeah. That's about it. 3 of the players that I've shit hardest on this offseason all land on the same team, and they somehow go earlier than I expected them to. I'm very sorry, Charger fans. Your franchise is doomed forever.